Hard, heavy, and hair. Badass music for badass listeners. With Pariah Burke.
I'm Pariah Burke, host of the Hard, Heavy, and Hair Show, and once again, I'm joined by my friend Brandon Cook, guitarist extraordinaire for Black and Blue. I gotta look at my list. He's got so many projects. State of Balance, Invasive Species, Appetite for Deception, Guns N' Roses tribute band, Jukebox Hero, Foreigner tribute band. What am I missing?
Did you say Black and Blue?
Black and Blue.
The Loyal Order and Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis, that's right.
And just pretty much anything that comes along that's interesting. Like at the NAMM show this year, I'm playing with Delana, who is an amazing singer. We're going to be doing, I think, a Thursday afternoon at the Sennheiser booth. But check the schedule at the Sennheiser booth if you happen to be at NAMM this year. And also, I'm pretty sure we're playing the main stage the same day at NAMM with Delana. And the band is just slamming. We're really excited about it. And sometimes I play in a group called the MuFus, which is a cover band. And
The MuFus?
MuFus. It's like 5 of the smokingest players in town, and it's like motherfuckers.
Nice.
Yeah, like the MuFus. And our lead singer Jeff Carroll wrote a record with Jeff Tate. That's how badass he is. He's hired to write songs for Jeff Tate from Queensrÿche. And so
and Operation Mindcrime.
Yeah, right.
Or,
yeah.
No, is it just Mindcrime he's touring under?
Yeah, Operation Mindcrime.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's his new project. And so there's that. Then there's BAM, my acoustic trio, where we basically just make fun of each other and change the lyrics to fuck with each other throughout the show, see who we can make laugh. And
live on stage.
Yeah. It's never planned. We kind of go and act like idiots and do various we'll do George Michael, and then we'll run into Poison, and then we'll do my one of the singers in the group's name is Andrew Green, and he likes to do Richard Marx, and then we'll do Steel Panther, and I do a bunch of Tenacious D songs and anything we can do to just make people laugh. It's pretty fun. It's always a fun gig. Then when I do a Tesla tribute band sometimes,
I haven't seen that. I want to catch you in the Tesla tribute band.
Yeah, we've only done 4 songs live, and it was part of the MuFus thing,
Right.
But it was really fun. It was hard. It was probably one of the hardest bands I've ever played in. The group of songs that we did, it was just really, really difficult. And it's I've played Dream Theater and stuff like that, and that's all just pretty much just making sure that you can play everything technically. But something about playing Tesla music was really difficult. It was so musical, and okay, now you've got to come down here, and you got to change your tone, and not only that, you singing harmonies with these really great riffs, and man, Tesla just kicked my ass. It was so fun.
Last time we talked about Loyal Order, Invasive Species, Appetite for Deception. I had your band shirt on.
That was an awesome shirt.
So I'd like to talk about the band you're most famous for, Black and Blue.
Yeah.
Are you the lead guitarist for Black and Blue, or do you and Bob trade off?
Well, I've been in the band the longest, and I think I have the most leads. I'm not sure, but it's pretty much cut down the middle. I kind of take a lead role just because of seniority. I've been there a little longer, but to me on stage it should look like we're co-lead guitarists. So Bob is one of my best friends. The guy's fucking awesome. He's a really, really good dude, and there's a lot of mutual respect between us. We really literally care about each other. We used to go and we'd break bread together all the time. It was Taco Tuesday or Thanksgiving or Christmas, and one of the reasons we called him to be in the band was because he's such a good guy. He's such a nice person and really open heart and giving soul. So having him in the band is not to mention he's just a phenomenal guitarist. So, but as far as me, how my role in the group, Patrick and I kind of have this tandem stage thing that we do together, and we're always kind of making sure that we have this, our harmonies are tight. We're the main background singers in the group, so I play a lot of roles, like sort of I play the lead guitarist sort of, and with Bob taking a good share of the leads too, and then I'm like sort of this tandem guitar team with Pat, and also I'm sort of I don't know, kind of a cheerleader. I'm the one that moves the most on stage. Yeah.
I noticed that. I've seen some videos of you performing, and you seem to move around even more than Jaime.
Yeah. Jamie's a more stationary kind of singer, but I've always been a very active guitarist. Like as long as I can remember, I've always been the guy that's like running pillar to post. It's just sort of how I am. I'm very active, and the when we did M3, it was the biggest stage that I played on with Black and Blue, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm using that son of a bitch. And, people dug it, like I'm running all the way out there, like there's light cans and stuff like that. And I'm like, what's up? Playing to people. And I've always like, I took my cue from the guys in Guns N' Roses. They are very active. They move all over the place. And, like Duff McKagan is a very good example. Like he's like Michael Myers. He just walks everywhere he goes. Somehow he ends up right at the mic when he needs to be. But he's just but for
Great
me,
timing, huh?
yeah. And I take some of that, but like more than that, I take my cue from Slash, because Slash is like, he's just very cutting, and I play Slash in a Guns N' Roses tribute band. But when I saw him doing that, I was just like, that's what I've always wanted to do. And I didn't know you were allowed to do that, because a lot of the bands that I played in, because I was so physically active, they were just like, why are you doing that? You look stupid, and like a lot of criticism. And
it's about entertaining.
Yeah.
Unless you're a grunge band who's just going to do shoegaze, move around.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think of like myself as more like Eddie Vedder. Like he's like climbing all over the place and, kind of making a spectacle of himself. And I know what you mean. Like most of the grunge guys are like, but I've never been that way, as long as and it wasn't like I saw somebody doing that. That wasn't what it was. It was just like, I got energy and I want to go rock. And then I saw this video of Slash playing in Tokyo. It's the Live in Tokyo from 1992. And he's just in the middle of guitar solos, just running. And he's not playing the solo perfect, but he's still doing it. And you're just like, whoa, that's so cool, And so the guys in my Guns N' Roses band were like, yeah, dude, do it. Just go for it. And so I started doing that. Got myself a wireless unit and started running all over the place and jumping up and down. It was insane. So bringing it to Black and Blue was a kind of you can't upstage Jaime St. James. That's the only rule. And sure. It's hard to do anyway, because he's a rock star wherever we go. Everybody knows who Jaime is. And so, if anything, it makes me look like I'm trying to upstage him. Pay attention to me, but I'm not really. I mean, that's just how I am. It's just my character I'm excited to do what I do. And I'm excited to play on stage and play in front of literally thousands of people. And so, when I get to play with amazing drummers like Pete Holmes and Jimmy DeAnda and, killer rhythm section like Patrick Young and, my guitar cohort, Bob Capka, it's just exciting to me. It's really exciting. And it's hard to contain.
I've seen footage of Black and Blue from M3.
Oh, yeah.
And it seemed like, Jaime's supporting you jumping around. It seems like he's encouraging that. And
yeah,
it seems like you guys have really good on-stage chemistry.
Yeah. Jaime really respects me. I got this moment, a couple of weeks ago when I went down to do Mega Cruise, and I respect him immensely too. It's a two-way street for sure. And so we're sitting in the Rainbow, and we got the two tables that are sort of facing each other in the middle of the room, and it was surreal to me because we're in this place with all this history. And he turns to one of my friends and he goes, Brandon Cook's the reason that we could still do this. And I'm just like, what? He kind of goes into this rant about how, I helped bring life to the band. And like, I don't know if this is private information or what, but it made me feel really good. It made me feel like I'm doing my job about, being more than just a replacement for Tommy Thayer or Jeff Warner. Whoop. You know, it made me feel like I'd helped the band step to another level. And that's always been one of my goals. If I get into a place, you know, into a band, I don't want to be a replacement. I want to be like an active member, like somebody who really pushes the envelope of what the band can do, what the band is able to do, like singing backgrounds that no one ever sang before, or like playing guitar leads in the right place where they couldn't do it just because, you know, for whatever reason, they just decided not to do that extra harmony there.
Mhm.
And I had to figure out how to make it pop. And, you know, Jaime has given me a lot of license to grow in that area and help the band grow. So I feel really good about that.
That's amazing to hear that in a not just in private from Jamie St. James, but
Yeah.
in a room full of other musicians.
Yeah, it was a room full of
The Rainbow Room.
yeah, like rock and roll people. You know, we were talking to our mutual friends, but you know, there's people like 5 feet away from us that are like, you know, David Ellison and Frankie Bello and, you know, John Tempesta sitting at that table, like some of my favorite musicians of all time, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Turn into a little kid for a second there. I'm just like, yeah. And
That is really cool.
you know, in that area, like Black and Blue still has like panache. They're the kind of band that like you say Black and Blue and they're like fucking black. You're in Black and Blue. Oh my god, you know. And you know, in Portland and Seattle, some people know it, but like in LA, people still view Black and Blue as like a seminal band because they were one of the first 4 or 5 bands that got signed to a major label record deal. You know, they got signed before Rat. You know, and their first record came out right around the same time. You know, it was Rough Cut and Rat and Quiet Riot and Motley Crue. Motley was the first really of that era. Van Halen was still a '70s band. They weren't considered an '80s band.
Yeah.
You know, they created the vibe that would become the '80s, but like the bands in the '80s that really made it happen were Quiet Riot, Rat, Rough Cut, Black and Blue, and like Twisted Sister. But they were a New York band. So anyway.
Well, and they definitely have that New York sound, like like Spread Eagle.
Yeah,
You know,
Spread Eagle definitely. Yeah, Rob DeLuca, Spread Eagle.
Yeah, sorry, Tora and Spread Eagle both came out with new albums this year. And
Yeah.
So, but
Tora is great, man. Like Anthony Corder is such a nice guy. I've been fortunate enough to have a run-in with him, and he was so cool. He's a really nice person.
But I've been a big fan of Black and Blue since the beginning. I had the first album on cassette. For a lot of years.
Great
for
album.
more years. I had the cassette long after I started buying CDs. But it was just one of those, you know, wow, I'm holding on to it kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
But anyway,
can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah.
This is a quick aside. I was hanging out with a friend in LA, and you know, we were looking in the record store, and she's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'll just look through this." And I was like, I saw a Black Keys record, and I was like, "Oh, Black Keys, cool." I was supposed to cut a song that sounded like the Black Keys right when I got back.
okay.
So I reached for it, and I pulled back the thing, and I was like, "Fucking Jamie St. James is staring at me. It's a Black and Blue record." And my friend was very impressed with that. She was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's your band." And I'm like, "That's my band." You know, like pulled it out, and you know, I should have bought it, but I didn't.
You could have got it autographed.
Yeah, I could have got it autographed by my band. But yeah, so that was a pretty surreal moment where it's like, huh, I'm in a band that's this cool, you know. Anyway,
So what's your favorite Black and Blue song to play live?
my favorite Black and Blue song to play live. It's a cross between Auto Blast and Heat It Up, Burn It Out. Auto Blast because it's just like fast, and I have to play a bunch of lead stuff while I sing the high harmony. So I'm playing lead stuff, and I'm going Auto Blast, just like screaming this super high melody, and then I have to do this shred like at the end of it. It's super challenging, but fucking awesome to play. And then Heat It Up, Burn It Out. It's like super heavy. It's our heaviest tune. Like that and Strong Will Rock are our 2 heaviest songs, but Heat It Up, Burn It Out is, I feel like it's just got this different kind of sauce on it. And so I love playing that song live. It's really, really, I just like beat the tar out of my guitar for that one. So those are my 2 favorites.
All right, well, why don't we give it a spin? Heat 'em up, burn 'em out.
Heat it up, burn it out, baby.
Black and blue. Tell us what we just heard.
So we just heard Heat It Up, Burn It Out. It's one of the heaviest black and blue songs out there. I think it's on their last record, In Heat, and I just love that tune.
So, and you said you love playing that live.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things the Hard, Heavy, and Hair show is known for is we play deep cuts a lot.
Oh,
So,
cool.
what is your favorite black and blue song that you wish you could play live?
Uh-huh.
Which song would you love to have part of the set?
Strange Things. It's we tried playing it live, but there's some like it's really hard to do that song without like tracks because it was one of the ones that was really well produced in the studio, and it has a couple of violin parts and maybe even like some keyboard pads. So it sounds a little naked with just the 5 piece, but if we could get if we could figure out an arrangement that really made it work, Strange Things would probably be in the set. It's just one of those songs that you kind of have to rehearse. And since Jaime and Pete live in LA, me and Bob and Pat live up here, it's hard to really create like a cohesive gel, without rehearsing.
You'd have to get how many violinists?
We could probably do it with like tracks or something like that. Click track and like, just hire a violin player to cut it down. But you know, Black and Blue is not really about that. We have, I mean, we play to a click track sometimes live, but it's more about like the live rock and roll energy and stuff like that. And a song like Strange Things doesn't really like fit into the sets that we do at a festival show. Like if we had more headline shows that we were doing, we'd probably do stuff like that. But right now we've been focusing on festivals and sort of like the cruises, Monsters of Rock cruise, and they don't really. The long songs don't really go over well there. Most of the fans that are there, they're into the hits. So
Yeah,
we
nasty, nasty.
yeah, Nasty Nasty, Hold On to 18, Auto Blast, the ones that are really well known. And as I mean, like as most bands can attest, when you play something that's a deep cut, even though they're probably enjoying it, they don't move and the energy stops in the room. Some people go to the bar, the people that aren't big fans, they're like, oh, I'm just going to get a drink, or they leave. So we try to make sure we keep people in the room. Usually that entails playing like the more rock and roll songs that kind of right up the middle, like Nasty Nasty and stuff like that. And also, when you have like 45 minutes to an hour on these festivals or the Monster Rock cruise, it's just hard to fit in like a deep cut that's in particular, like I think Strange Things, it's like 5 minutes or 6 minutes long. So longer tunes are they're just harder to fit in. Now if you're Guns N' Roses and you have like November Rain or something like that, or like you're Led Zeppelin and you got Stairway to Heaven, of course that's going to go in the set. But
Well, Def Leppard.
those are huge hits.
Joe Elliott said just the other day that he was one of the aspects he really likes about the residency in Vegas was he gets to sleep in the same room multiple nights in a row.
Yeah.
But another big thing that he really liked was they changed the set list apparently every show.
Yeah.
And they're playing a lot of deep cuts, a lot of old things from the catalog. He said they haven't touched the first Def Leppard album, but they're playing, they've got a pretty big catalog, and they're playing the hits and everything.
Yeah, from High and Dry Forward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for a thing like Vegas, people come to multiple shows in a row. They'll come to Vegas and they'll be like, I got to see Def Leppard at least twice. That would be really cool in my book to see Def Leppard more than once.
Yeah.
Just to see how well they sing 2 days in a row. No, that's exactly the same as yesterday. No, just kidding. No, I've heard they sing really, really, really well live, and I still have yet to see them. That's one of my bucket list bands, Def Leppard.
I've seen them. Good show.
Oh, really?
Good show. Maybe I shouldn't admit this on the air, but first off, I love Tesla. Always been a huge Tesla fan.
Uh-huh.
So I went there for Tesla first, then Def Leppard.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, Styx was fine. The singles on the radios in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Roboto. Dennis DeYoung's stuff is amazing, but they don't play that because Dennis DeYoung's not on the band anymore. So they don't play what I consider the greatest stick stuff. So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't really care. It was an outdoor event, one of those covered ones. And I was like, you know what? The Sticks set will be a great time for me to go grab some food and a beer and, hit the head. So I always make it a habit to buy concert shirts before the show. I go to the merch tent before the show because I don't want to them run out. So I buy my Tesla shirt, I buy my Def Leppard shirt. Sticks set, I'm glued to my seat. They just put on such an amazing show. Before Def Leppard came out, I run to the merch tent and buy the last Stick shirt in my size. And the person I was with was like, "I thought you didn't like them." No, they're amazing live. They were just awesome. Even without Dennis DeYoung, it was just great.
Yeah, the guy that they have doing his parts is really amazing. He's just like ridiculous singer. And not only that, their new drummer. I mean, the old drummer was just fine. He was really good, solid rock and roll drummer. But Todd Sucherman is just like, he takes Sticks up to like prog epicness. They always had kind of hard songs, but he really added a flair that they didn't have before. And it's like my inner musician is just like totally enthralled by that. So not only that, like, these guys are 65, almost 70 years old, and still singing like it's the 70s.
And Tommy Shaw jumping all over the stage.
Yeah.
And I've always liked Tommy Shaw, with or without Sticks. Damn Yankees, always been a fan. He just dialed it up to 11 on stage, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, I saw them in 2010, so they weren't as, they're not old, but they're not as old as they are now, and they were crushing it, in their late 50s, early 60s, just killing it, man. This band that I helped out, I got into the show for free because I was a load-in for a band called Cleveland. Thanks, Stephanie Smith and Kevin Hahn.
And I'm hesitant to ask this next question, but
okay.
Any chance of new music from Black and Blue?
At the moment, I haven't heard anything that is giving me a hint that Jaime wants to start writing. Okay. If Jaime was ready to start writing and put new Black and Blue music out, I'm assuming he would be the lead writer. I've written a couple of things that are like, it's totally Black and Blue, and I'm like, oh man, if we ever decide to write something, that would be in for consideration.
If I can say, Jaime, this is the time to come back. Yeah. Tora, Spread Eagle, and they both put out albums in 2019, and they rock. Junkyard, they're coming back. Junkyard's been working on a big comeback the last year and a half, doing tours. I know they've gone through some stuff lately. They had cancel a couple of shows recently, but they're coming back big. They had, I can't remember the name of the album, but they put out an album in 2017, I think, or
who did?
Junkyard.
Oh yeah, they're touring with LA Guns right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go see that show. Rough Cuts is touring with them too.
Yeah, Junkyard had to pull out of the show here.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I don't think anybody's replaced them, so it's just Rough Cut and LA Guns. LA Guns headlining. And I'll be at that show too. I was so excited about that show, I bought a ticket and then got a press pass. Yeah. But yeah, so it's the right time. So Jaime, if you're listening, it's a great time for new Black and Blue music.
Yeah. I kind of agree. Like some of my friends, my friend Britt is in Vixen, and they just put a new record out, and it's gotten a lot of attention, and really helped them get more shows and stuff like that. But I try to defer to those guys because they've been at this for 35 years, and I go, you know what, I support whatever you want to do, and I just take my creative energy and like dump it to as much as and many other things as I can, because right now I'm just like off the hook. I made this decision in 2015 that I was going to stop drinking.
Okay.
And for 2 years I didn't drink, and now I drink a little bit now, but I was I didn't have as much creative energy as I needed. I had tons of it, but I was like, wasting a lot of it with drinking. And so since 2015, I think I put out, not put out, but like I've put out like 2 or 3 records, and I've written almost 2 or 3 more. Just that's in creative phases, disparate creative phases, like just songwritten. Some are like in pieces, but like I did the Metamorphosis record. I did the Loyal Order record, which is about to come out, and my friend Sarah Moon and I did a record called Good Girl Sleep Alone, and it's Sarah Moon's solo record. And the Interbasive Species record is, I put a lot of time into that, and so like, almost, let's see, including the State of Balance material I've written in the last couple of years, it's like 5, 6 records worth of stuff that I've been involved in writing. Some of it like probably two albums worth of stuff that's like just stuff I wrote by myself.
And we talked a lot about the invasive species last time, and that's in the video online. If you're watching this separately, or if you're listening on the show, there's a whole much longer interview with Brandon Cook, available on pariahrocks.com and YouTube if you just search for Brandon Cook.
Cool.
Quickly, I wanted to ask you, when you play Appetite for Deception, which is the Guns N' Roses tribute band that I am a huge fan of,
yeah.
What's your favorite GNR song to play?
Ooh, man, that's tough. I think Don't Damn Me. I really like playing that song because it's so aggressive. Dead Horse is super groovy. I love that song. I have to give you like a list because I can't even pick because I love so many of those tunes. Like Sweet Child of Mine is a great one to play live because people freak over that guitar solo, and I've gotten pretty good at playing it over the last 14 years. And every time I play that solo, people are just like, "Oh my god, that guitar solo!" But Paradise City, every time we get to that solo at the end, it's just like mayhem. The fucking audience goes insane.
I've seen them.
Yeah,
you hear the boom. And they go,
yeah, right? We do this intro where it's like, I kind of mess with the guys every once in a while, but most of the time we do an intro using Mother by Pink Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, I like end it with a different song in the key of G, and everyone will go, oh. And then then I laugh and go into start playing the intro, and as soon as they hear the boom, boom, they just go nuts. And when it's doing the Lynyrd Skynyrd ending where they go really fast, and honestly, to me, it's like a gospel ending. It's like a gospel band. And Axl's the preacher, and if you listen really close, there's background singers going, "Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty."
Yep.
And so when we have the girls on stage with us, it's so amazing, because there's like the harmonies going. It's like, "I want to see, girl, how good you could be." It's totally, to me, it's like Jesus is here. Amen, brother. It's like this whole people lose their shit over that thing, man. It just go crazy. So even though
it really resonates.
Yeah.
It resonates with people. I mean, a lot of the lyrics came from, Axl's childhood and living in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And then transitioning to the mean streets of LA in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, I think we all feel like, I could really use some time, just out in the grass and in the sun and not worrying about all my adulting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely, man. It totally resonates with me that way. Like the lyrics are pretty grungy, like the front half of it, but then it's like, just take me home, like get me away from this hard,
So quickly, tell me about Metamorphosis.
Well, Metamorphosis is a project that I co-founded with Andy Korn, who's the producer and drummer of the project, and Larry Smith, who is the singer of the project. Larry Smith is locally known as the lead singer of a Scorpions tribute band and several other things, but he's also got a Led Zeppelin tribute band called Valhalla. he's just a phenomenal singer, and we all sort of like, it was really Andy's idea. He wanted to take classic jazz and show tunes and transform them into heavy metal classics. It was like,
Nice.
so we wanted to just kind of use like the classic style of like 80s heavy metal, like Dio and Maiden and, you know, things like that, and sort of collide them with, you know, the best jazz show tunes of, you know, like we did like uh, Strangers in the Night, and like we did Hit the Road Jack by Ray Charles.
Nice.
And we did My Favorite Things, you know, the classic Julie Andrews from. So we did that classic, and it was really 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 cool when we started doing it, and we are planning to do a second record, but we haven't talked about it yet because it's very expensive to do the, you know, get all the mixing and stuff. And we used Sammy Hagar's mixing guy, Jaime, and he mixed the crap out of this thing. It sounds so good. You know, we recorded it in Andy's home studio and then sent it off to Jaime because Jaime and Andy have been really long-term friends. And, you know, currently Jaime works directly with Sammy Hagar on almost all of his records. He did the Chicken Foot record, and I think he did the recent record with The Circle. And, you know, so
good album.
He's really, really awesome at what he does. And in fact, Jaime came up to Portland a couple of weeks ago, and right when I got back from Mega Cruise, and the morning I woke up, I went to the studio, and me and Jaime and Andy like worked on 3 songs for this local sort of roots rock band. And it's just great working with those guys. They're really creative and very high standard of excellence, and just trying to make like world-class music all the time. So I guess that's what we wanted Metamorphosis to be, you know, as with the Loyal Order and all the other things I work on. I want it to be at that international, you know, sort of, if there's going to be a legend formed, that's the level I want to be at, you know. So Metamorphosis followed along that line, and, you know, several times it was like, no, that solo's not good enough, we got to recut that, you know, that arrangement's a little weird, you know. Jaime was like, nah man, you got to recut that drum track, and those guitars aren't with the drums, and re-edit that, you know, whatever it was to get it to the point where, you know, we had everything at, you know, as high level as possible.
Yeah.
And so Metamorphosis has been, you know, it's been a lot of hard work, and, you know, we had this really great video for it. That Dave Grohl made a video for the Foo Fighters. It was explaining their last record that they put out. So, and he got a wild hair, and he messaged that guy, and he made our video.
Oh, nice.
It was so cool. I was like looking at it, and I'm just like, it's the same as Dave Grohl. We worked with that guy, and that guy worked with Dave Grohl. That's amazing, you know? It's like 1 degree from Dave.
I know Dave Grohl's a big influence of yours.
Oh, he's huge. And one of the reasons I have put so much creative energy out there is because of him. You know, it's like he wants to do a record, so he goes and does it. He doesn't go like, well, I've got Foo Fighters, so I'm not doing anything. He's like, no, I'm on the Queens of the Stone Age record. I'm on the Tenacious D record. I'm on this record. I'm on Those Crooked Vultures, or Them Crooked Vultures. And he just keeps doing stuff like that. You know, he wants to do movies, and he wants to do this. And I'm just like, that's what I want to do. I want to be like, what's the next creative project I can be a part of? You know, I'll always like weigh heavily on the bands that I work with, not weigh heavily on them, hopefully, but like put most of my weight and my energy into those bands. But I want to do everything I can do, you know. And Dave Grohl is a huge, you know, I mean, obviously he was in the movies. He was in the Tenacious D movie as the devil, you know. So I would love to, you know, if I have any acting skills at all, I hope somebody like picks me up and says, dude, you need to be in my movie. I would love to do that. It'd be fucking awesome. So
feel free to take a frame from this video as a headshot and submit it to your agent.
Cool. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Dave's a huge influence on me, and working with someone that he worked with was kind of It wasn't kind of cool. It was really fucking cool. And our video turned out amazing. It got a ton of views. And it was like, I think it got like 500,000 views on Facebook. It was for our song Night and Day, which is a cover of Frank Sinatra classic. Cole Porter classic, originally done by Sinatra. And it's, I mean, we did this super heavy, like Black Sabbath version of the song. It was like, we kind of made this song. We took Night and Day and we kind of crossed it with Children of the Grave. Like we took it and kind of made the two cross, and the results are pretty fucking cool. I really dig it.
Well, I think I'm going to play that then.
Yeah, play Night and Day by Cole Porter as done by Metamorphosis.
All right. I know you got to get to another gig. So I wanted to thank you for another great interview.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
Brandon Cook, guitarist for Black and Blue, The Loyal Order, and other projects.
Too many to list.
Well, I'm about to. Hit pariahrocks.com. That's PARIAHROCKS.com. In the show notes for this Hard, Heavy, and Hair show, I'm going to link to all of Brandon's projects, all his websites, all his Facebook fan pages. I had to list them out so I didn't forget anything. Black and Blue, The Loyal Order, State of Balance, Invasive Species, Metamorphosis, Appetite for Deception, the Guns N' Roses tribute, Jukebox Heroes, the Foreigner tribute band, and I've also linked to where you can take guitar, bass, and being in a band lessons from a bona fide rock star. Right here, Brandon Cook will teach you. And if that weren't enough, you can watch my full interview with Brandon Cook right there in the show notes and on YouTube. I could only fit so much of that interview on the air on the radio show, but the whole interview is available as a video. You can sit down, you can watch it. There are too many topics to mention. Just go and watch.
I talk a lot.
This very interesting man, this amazing musician. It's a lot of topics. So, Brandon, thank you very much for joining me on the show again.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm so happy to be here. You're an awesome interviewer and very good friend. So I appreciate you bringing me on the show and letting me do this. Letting me talk my guts out. That's what I do.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, man.
Hard, Heavy, and Hair. Badass music for badass listeners. With Pariah Burke.